if you want to get away from the fact that Liverpool have won the Premier League and will be insufferable about it, then this is the place to be. Welcome to the GP4 Offline Championship round 9 of the season, the Austrian Grand Prix at the Red Bull Ring, the 4th Austrian Grand Prix in the OC fraternity, the quickest track on the calendar in terms of lap time. The circuit that has had a total of 3 names over the years: the Ostrich Ring, A1 Ring and Red Bull Ring. Apologies if I butchered that. 2 teams have won here over the past 3 seasons, that being Mercedes and Ferrari, with Jay McKenzie winning in 2014, Florian Volker in 2015, and Will Neller winning last season. So it's going to be very interesting to see who wins in 2017, the 4th race here, the Red Bull Ring, one of personally my favourite circuits on the calendar. 71 laps, a circuit length of 4.318 kilometres, only 8 corners, although I'm pretty sure it's technically 9, as far as I can remember, but let's not go on the finer details. Florian Volker set the lap record back in 2015, a 108.2, and we'll look at what the tyres will be, of course. The tyres will be the super soft tyres, and the driver of the day from last time out, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku, was Julius Anderson for taking a well-deserved 3rd place. So let's see if he can carry on with that, if that's lucky charm or not. But here is the starting grid for the Austrian Grand Prix. And on the front row, it is Florian Volker. It's not Will Neller. Shock horror. Florian Volker ahead of Will Neller's teammate Jay McKenzie in 2nd. On the 2nd row, it's an all-British 2nd row. Armar Carr in 3rd and Will Neller in 4th. On the 3rd row of the grid, we have Mikolas Gau and Roland Mojtic, the 2 Hungarians, for Red Bull and Williams. On the 4th row of the grid, we have Franco Lopez and Roberto Gamba for Force India and McLaren. On the 5th row of the grid, we also have Michael Mocho and Oliver Glazebrook qualifying both those 2 drivers. Qualifying was also quite dramatic as well, particularly in Q1 and Q2, where there was rain in it and it was drying out. It was all happening. Felix Sonntag and George Roach on row 6 there. Evan Byrne and Thierry Altinen, the 2 Renaults, on at row 7, but as I said, qualifying was chaotic, particularly in Q1 and Q2. Tomaselli and Rick Yan in 15th and 16th, so as you can see, Rick Yan is down there, surprisingly enough. On the 9th row of the grid, we have Etienne Jones and Julius Anderson for Manor and Williams, and the biggest shock of all, Joseph Willows in 19th position for Ferrari, alongside Franco Gamba, 20th position for Toro Rosso. And on the last row of the grid, we have Joel Hutter for Haas and Nicholas Zorbach for Manor. So that was the grid for the Grand Prix. As you can see, unfortunately, it will not be wet during the race. It will be a dry race. So after all the chaos we had in qualifying, it's set to be a dry race here at the Red Bull Ring. This is going to be very interesting to see what happens. So Volker on the front row. His fuel load, it looks to be fairly heavy, as we now have the 3 lights, 4 lights, and now the 5 lights are now on, and we're underway for the Austrian Grand Prix, and Volker makes a good start, and the Red Bull behind him, though, has made an even better start to head towards the first corner. Will Volker take the lead, or will McKenzie take it round the outside? And McKenzie does take the lead, and McKenzie takes P1. Great start. He's looking for his first win of the season. Volker might be overtaken by his teammate here, Will Neller, as they come towards turn 2. There's a crash, and Rick Yan is out, and Tomaselli is out. Already 2 cars out on the first corner, and there always seems to be chaos at this corner on the track, and it's happened once again. This was Rick Yan and Thomas Hayes. Let's see what happens. So on board with Rick Yan, who was right in the mid-pack, and he was behind. He had the 1 Sauber alongside it. No, that's the Manor, sorry. And it was getting very tight there. Did he go into the back of him, or did he get hit? And oh, that's what happened. So a little bit of contact there, and right there we go. And this is on board with Oliver Glazebrook in the McLaren, right behind his teammate Roberto Gamba. Is he going to make a move into turn 2? He's going to try and swap to the inside. Is he? Oh no! Oh my word, that is absolutely incredible. Oliver Glazebrook has just run into the back of his teammate Roberto Gamba going into turn 2. That is unbelievable for McLaren. Oh my word. So look at that. 4 cars out on the first 2 corners. That is, I can't believe what's just happened there. Glazebrook just got a bit too close to Roberto Gamba, and they're both out of the race. It's been a pretty miserable season for Glazebrook, and that is going to continue. You can see he just was too caught in the slipstream and goes into the back of it. That's a pretty spectacular crash, and oh dear, that is not going to go down well at McLaren, that is for sure. And this was Volker, who was overtaken in the end by Will Neller. So a disastrous start for Volker, who's dropped down to 4th as well. So I think it's because he's got heavy fuel, that is why. So what a disastrous start for Volker. and what could have been another victory for him, and unfortunately it is not going well so far. So at the moment it's Mackenzie first, Nella second, Gal in third position as Lopez now trying to make a move on Volker coming through the last two corners, and he can't make it stick, so he has to wait, and now they've got Roland Moyton behind, so Volker is going to get absolutely swamped here. He's clearly not quick enough with that heavy fuel as Mackenzie sets the fastest lap, and Lopez is going to go past him into the first corner, and does he make it stick? And yes he does, so Volker pole position, and now he's down to 5th. What a disastrous start. Sontag battling with the Haas there, side by side between those two. Evan Byrne behind there. He could go past Sontag if he's not careful. And will he make it through? No, but he can't. So Roke has actually made a good start, up to 8th and 12th. So cars can't overtake here because there's yellow flags, so otherwise they'll get a penalty. And fortunately they don't. Willows has moved up to 15th, so he's moved up a few positions on the first lap. So quite a few cars have moved up on the first lap. Roke's one of them. But crucially at the moment it's a great start for the two Mercedes, Nella and Mackenzie. But unfortunately for Volker, they have put him on a bad strategy. Ferrari's strategy lets them down again by the looks of it. But as we look at Evan Byrne all over the back of Felix Sontag coming through the double left-hander here, and Byrne will try and make a move coming into the final two corners as he comes off it, now heading towards the second to last corner, the penultimate corner on the circuit. Will he make the move stick? And no, he can't, as Mackenzie sets another fastest lap. So he's going to have to wait until the front straight now to make it. But that's allowing Roke to get away. And there's side by side, Moyton's now on the inside of Volker, heading towards the first corner. And Moyton's already passed him. And he's up into 5th position. So Volker is falling there like a stone. Byrne trying on the inside of Sontag. Doesn't make it stick there. And now it's going to allow Etienne Jones in the manor behind. So there's a big gaggle of cars behind Byrne there. As we're looking at car now all over the back of Volker. They were getting very close there. It could have gone wrong as now Tiernan has made it past Jones, it looks like, into 11th position. Yes he has, so good move there by the Thai driver. Moves up into 11th position. Now he's got his teammate Byrne in front of him, who's been trying to get past Sontag since the start of the race, but he's having to defend from Jones trying to get back there. So good move though nonetheless. So Mackenzie's lead already 3 seconds ahead of Nella, who himself is a second clear of Gal at the moment. So it's looking pretty good for Mercedes, but we'll see what Gal can do. It's about a second the gap, so it's not close enough to get in the slipstream. Is now, speaking of cars in the slipstream, car is on the back of Volker. It looks like he's going to overtake him, and he does. And what a disaster for Florian Volker, down to 7th position after just 4 laps, and he's going to fall further down at this moment. He could fall into the prey of Roke if he's not careful. And here is Byrne now once again going to try it on Sontag into the first corner. Will he make it stick? He's trying to go alongside Sontag. I think it's a bit late. Sontag moves to the right and can't make it stick as Byrne locks up, and Byrne spins, and Byrne got on the grass there and spun, and there's a overtake there by the Toro Rossos, and I wonder if they did that under yellow flags. I'd be interested to see that again. But Byrne trying his best to get past Sontag, locked up, then got on the grass and spun into the first corner. So you can see he tried to get past Sontag there. It was a bit late. Sontag moved to the right, then Byrne locked up there, went on the left, and then then spun. And I think Jones got back past now Tiernan there. But I wonder if this was at Zorbach looking at the two, and that was so close. One of the Toro Rossos was so close to hitting Byrne's car there. I think it was Franco Gamba who tried to get past there. So let's have a look at it again. So let's see if the yellow flag does come out, because if it does, then Franco Gamba could be in trouble here. So he was alongside Mocho, and the yellow flag was out. So, and was he past him though? That's tough. I'm honestly not sure what to say about that, because it was about equal, and I think he was still technically behind. There was the yellow flag there, and he does move up into 16th. So is that going to be a penalty? That's very tough. And yes, he will receive. So unfortunately, didn't hold back enough. So Frankie Gamba does receive a 5-second time penalty for overtaking Mocho under yellow flags. So not a good start. Now here is the battle for P8. Sontag is actually caught up to the back of Roke here, and Sontag is going to try and make a move on the inside here, coming into the penultimate corner, and he can't make it stick there. As there's another yellow flag. And there's a Ferrari this round, and it's Volker. Oh dear, and it's gone from bad to worse for Florian Volker. Pole position, and unfortunately Ferrari have stuffed him up with the strategy, and now he is dropped way outside of the points. What a disaster for the German driver. And so I think Sontag did well not to pass Roke there, because that could have gone badly wrong. We can see Volker just never made the turn and just spins, and he's lucky that there wasn't any cars closer, as then there comes Roke and Sontag, and then Jones behind, and then Willows actually, who's gained a fair few positions so far. Now here is Carr on the back of Moitian for 5th position. Now coming onto the straight, past into the coming into the first corner, and nope, doesn't make it stick, so he has to back off. Now here's the battle for 7th position. So Roca, I mean, has so far made a good start, but Sonntag has been all over the back of him as they head towards the first corner. Sonntag is going to try and make it on the inside, doesn't make it stick there, but now Willows is there, so Sonntag has got to be careful, because Willows is going to go past him pretty quickly, I would imagine. Oh, and Jones is out of the race. Etienne Jones is out, and Byrne is in the pits. Oh, and there was Jones's car onto the pit entry there. So what has happened to Etienne Jones? He was behind Sonntag and Roque, so he must have made a mistake coming into the final corner. We didn't see anything on the, didn't see any yellow flags. Did he make a mistake? Oh, he was passed by Willows there, and goes wide. And does he clip a car? Oh no, oh dear. And so he went over the curb and lost his wing, and then went into the wall. And Evan Byrne also made another mistake and had to go into the pits as well. I thought I had forgotten that he had spun a few laps ago, and unfortunately for him, he has to go into the pits and then hits the debris there. And he's lucky he didn't go onto the grass. He could have easily gone into the wall there, but fortunately he didn't. So here is the battle for 12th position. This is now turning all over the back of Zorbach, but he has to back off and goes a bit wide and gets way out of shape as Hutter just went past into 14th position there. As we look at Zorbach all over the back of Julius Anderson, heading towards the first corner. Will he make it stick on the win? This would be an impressive move if he does. And no, Anderson does go a little bit wide, but now Tyrion will be there as well. So at the moment, what is the gap? So Mackenzie's got a 6-second gap at the moment over Nella in first position, as Tyrion tries yet again to get past Zorbach. Doesn't make it stick there. But Anderson is struggling, so he must have heavy fuel as well. Although Zorbach's fuel is pretty heavy too, as they come on to the back straight. At the moment, Mackenzie's got a very comfortable lead, and Byrne already a lap down, so it's been a pretty disastrous race for him so far. I mean, Gao is not that far away. He's generally sticking with Nella, and so is the Force India behind of Franco Lopez. So there could be an interesting battle brewing here. And here is Willows now moving up the order once again. He's in 8th position on lap 8, and I was so close to contact there, trying to overtake Roque. And he comes through the final corner. Surely he'll make the move onto, coming into turn 1. He's clearly got the speed in that Ferrari, so he's made a fantastic start so far. He's on the inside of Roque, and will he make it stick into the first corner? No. Roque does go very wide and gets a poor run, and Willows takes the position very easily there. And now Sonntag, this could be his chance to make it through past Roque. He's not going to do it around the outside, surely not. He's going to have to wait until the next corner, but he has to back off, so he can't make it through here. But Willows scything his way through the pack. He's got a while to go until he gets to Carr in front of him, but he could easily close on him. We'll see. But it looks to me like Gal is definitely closing on the back of Nella for second. At the moment, Mackenzie is far clearer at the front of the field. He's not had a great season, Mackenzie, and this, of course, if he does win, would be his first victory of the season. And here we go. Gal is now right behind Nella. He has been closing up to him lap by lap. And Roque's gone wide. Roque has gone wide, coming through the penultimate corner there. And oh no! And Roque has collided with Franco Gamba there. And oh dear me. And so we've seen a few mistakes there so far, and Roque is the latest person to do that. So he went wide off the track, sometimes said thank you, and rejoins. Oh right, he rejoined in front of Franco Gamba, but then he lost it after he rejoined in front of him. So, and unfortunately Gamba had nowhere to go. You can see, loses it right in front of Gamba, the worst possible time to do that, and unfortunately Franco Gamba had nowhere to go. So I wouldn't be surprised if Roque gets a penalty for that. I'd be surprised if he didn't, but we'll see what the stewards have to say. Now here is the battle for P2 between Will Nella and Miguel Gal. And Gal, look at the speed he's got through there. Look at the speed as he comes into the penultimate corner. He can't make a stick there, but he's got to be careful because Franco Lopez is now there as well. So you're going to have a great battle for second place here as Gal right behind Nella coming onto the pit straight. And is he going to make the move into turn 1? Will Nella defend? He doesn't really defend. Will Gal make the move stick? And the answer is there's a car coming out of the pits as well. And he doesn't. And now Carr tries it on Moitian. And that was Roque, actually, as a matter of fact, who just came out of the pits there. And as we see Lopez in the slipstream of Gal, who moves to the right for some reason. But that's going to allow Lopez to get a good run onto the back straight here. Although if Gal can get the run on Nella in front of him, he could still overtake him. And oh, and there's another car off at that corner. And this time it's now Tyrrell, who is running in 11th position. And let's see what happens. So yeah, it just goes wide again onto that curve. Once you go onto that curve, it's very difficult to keep control of it. And right in front of the Ferrari there, of Volker. That would have compounded his misery right there. As Carr has now come into the pits, he's going to obviously try and jump Roland Moichin, who he's been stuck behind and hasn't been able to make a way past. But you see the gap out front. Look at the gap. Mackenzie 14 seconds ahead of Neller, and Gal's actually dropped a second behind. So he's dropped a little bit behind him at the moment, but Mackenzie has clearly got the pace, and I guess he must have the lighter fuel load compared to his teammate, that is for sure. So I wouldn't be surprised if he starts coming into the pit soon. As here's Carr on the back of Zorbach, and he moves up into 9th position. So Zorbach at the moment running in 10th position, doing pretty well. Of course, this is a good track for him. Of course, he was one of the drivers, I don't know if he might be the only one, I think as a guest driver to win a race, and it was, I think, in GP2 he won. But he's had a good record here, so he'll hope to continue it. As we look at Roland Moichin, who is now coming in, probably to cover off the fact that Carr has pitted, so he'll have to probably hope that Carr got held up enough behind Zorbach to make it through, but we'll see. So he comes into the pits, changes all 4 tyres, and where will he come out onto the track? Will he come out ahead of Carr? Because if he doesn't, then Carr will have won this pit stop battle. But this battle, I imagine, will probably resume, although the Red Bulls do look fairly quick today. So Moichin comes to the pits. Where is the car? Where is the car of Carr? And Carr has just, I think, gone through past the finish line. He comes up behind his teammate Julius Anderson, and he does come out still ahead of Armar Carr, so it's not worked, the undercut. I guess Zorbach holding him up was enough there for Moichin to stay ahead, but of course he'll need to get past his teammate Julius Anderson. But as we look at Sontag coming out of the pits from 14th, he's going to be lapped by Mackenzie already, but of course let's not forget this track is one of the shortest tracks on the calendar in terms of lap time, that is. And yep, Sontag is now lapped. So Mackenzie is pitting this lap, so it probably that is probably why he's so quick, because he's had a lighter fuel load compared to everyone else. But it's still been some impressive pace from Mackenzie, is that he's not had a good season, and if he wins here, that would definitely boost his confidence. So the gap to Nella is about nearly 19 seconds. It is, so it is pretty huge right now. That is for sure. So as we look at Mackenzie coming through the double left-handers, coming through the first, you've got to be careful, because I mean, if you make a mistake at either corner there, you'll be off into the gravel, and if you're going fast enough, you'll be off into the wall as well. Gets through there safe and sound. Now heads towards the final couple of corners. The pit entry is a little bit of a dodgy pit entry, I have to say, but he does come in, go very slowly there, but he does now come into the pits, so he'll come up behind Nella, and he'll come up behind Gal. Well, he'll come up behind, I think, all 3 of them, Lopez as well. So he comes in, and the pits is right, as soon as he comes in, it's right there. So let's see, I imagine, will it be a 3-stop or a 2-stop? It will be, I think that's going to be a 3-stop. It looks like that's not much fuel, so, although I think this is probably the track to do it, I would think, but it's going to be very interesting to see. But I think Mackenzie's pace so far has looked pretty good. So Mackenzie obviously now relinquishes the lead of the race, so he drops down to P3, and Gal's actually coming to the pits this lap as well, and Willow's now up into the top 4 after 19 laps. So far been a good recovery drive from Joseph Willows at this moment in time. And Mackenzie comes out crucially just in front of George Roque there, who himself has got Willows behind him, who he's going to lap, I would think. And he does. Will Willows make a move on Mackenzie into the corner? He's going to go for it, is he? Ooh, that would have been a late move had he done that. But Mackenzie crucially does come out ahead of Willows, who is still going to be going for a few more laps yet. And Gal comes out in P5. But Mackenzie crucially comes out ahead of him. He needed to do that, because at the moment, obviously Lopez, he's not got that much fuel left, so he'll be pitting fairly soon. And Nella, I imagine, will be pitting probably a few laps after him, I would think. But it's been quite a dramatic race so far here at the Red Bull Ring. Of course, at the moment, Carr is the one leading the championship, having retaken it from Joseph Willows after he suffered that engine failure with just, I think, 6 laps to go. And at the moment in time, though, I think if it finished as it was, I think Willows would take back the points lead at this moment in time if it was to finish as it was, with Carr just down in 8th. But of course, many drivers have still yet to take their pit stops, so we've got a long way to go yet. We've still got a lot of laps to complete. Now here is the battle between Julius Anderson and Roland Moichin. Moichin will need to get past Anderson, because he'll have Carr coming up behind him very quickly if he doesn't get through him, and he's going to be right there now as he didn't get past him coming into the penultimate corner. Anderson, I imagine, will probably be told to let Moichin through, And Moichin is on the inside. Will he make it into the first corner? The answer is no, he doesn't, although he goes way wide there. And he does make it through, and Carr is unfortunately right there, though, so that's not quite the way I don't think Moichin wanted to make that move. But he's done it nonetheless, but Carr is right with him now. So he is going to be a sitting duck if he's not careful. He's going to have to defend with all his might, and he does, coming through the right-hander there, although that's not going to get him a good run. Carr now in the slipstream of Moichin. He's surely going to make the move. Well, if he doesn't make it here, he'll make it on the back straight. And will he try it? And he'll go to the inside. Oh! And there's contact. And they managed to control it. That's fair play. And oh, Mocho is out. And Michael Mocho is out. And that's coming towards the final 2 corners there. He's pulled off as his wheel is doing some breakdancing there. And it looks like to be a mechanical failure, because that is a very weird place to park off. So I think that is definitely a mechanical failure. Unfortunate there for Michael Mocho. So he was running in 13th position, going through the left-hander, and oh yep, there it goes. The right front wheel there has gone up, so that's clearly a suspension failure for Michael Mocho. And so that's his race over and out, and there goes his wing, disintegrated from the car. But there we go. That is his race done and dusted on lap 23. And unfortunately hit the wrong wheel into there. That wasn't the broken one, but this was Moichin and Carr. I was very surprised there was no damage and neither of them spun there. Here was Mackenzie. Oh! And Mackenzie launches Lopez around, and that was bound to happen as Lopez was going into the... Oh! Well, he's not going into the pits anymore. And Franco Lopez, unfortunately the worst possible time there. Although, will he try and still get into the pits with 3 wheels on his wagon? And it doesn't look like it. I think his race is done as he goes over those weird hilly bits coming into the pits. So that's his race over. So it was looking so promising for Franco Lopez, but just the wrong place at the wrong time there. Mackenzie wanted to get through, as Will Nella now does come in finally for his first pit stop. So he comes out of his pit box, and let's see where he comes out on the track. So Miguel Gao is going to... Wait, so Miguel Gao actually is going to... And oh, Florian Volker has... Oh, no. Just to compound Volker's misery, he has got an electrical problem. And I might add that Gao has got ahead of Nella in the stop. So Nella going longer clearly hasn't worked. So Gao has now technically taken P2 off of him. And George Roke has received a 25-second time penalty because of the incident with Franco Gamba. I would have been surprised if he hadn't got anything, to be honest. So I think that's probably a fair penalty. But there we go. So Volker comes into the pit. It couldn't have gone any worse for him, really. Volker had pole position, but the team were like, yeah, we'll put a heavy fuel load on at one of the shortest tracks on the calendar. Great idea, and it's worked brilliantly for him. He's spun off. He's also had an electrical problem. So it's really... as I said, it couldn't have gone any worse. It really could not have gotten any worse. But actually, let's not forget, Willers at the moment is currently in P2. And he's actually got, I think, a few more laps to pit. I don't know if he actually has pitted or not, Willows. I'm pretty sure he hasn't, because if he had, he would have been behind Gallinella at the moment. So I'd need to have a look. So Nella is 18 seconds. So I don't actually know if Willows has pitted or not. I'm pretty sure he hasn't, but he's only 2 seconds off of Mackenzie, and he's 18, and Gall is 18 seconds behind him, and Nella's a few seconds behind him. So I mean, I think Willows could be on for the podium here at this moment in time. So I need to see what Willis' fuel is. I mean, Mackenzie says, oh, Mackenzie's off! And Mackenzie, the leader, is off! Unbelievable! And Jay Mackenzie is off the circuit, and he had a comfortable lead, and he's just thrown it all away. And Joseph Willows has taken the lead of the race. I didn't quite catch what his fuel was there, but Jay Mackenzie, having had a comfortable lead, has thrown it all away, and Willows behind him. I'm pretty sure Willows had similar fuel to Mackenzie, and if that's the case, then Joseph Willows might actually be the new leader of this race. So hold on a second, and let's have a look. So his fuel's lighter than Mackenzie's, but I think Joseph Willows is in with a shot at the win here. Now that Mackenzie has just done that, I really think Willows is in with a chance of victory here. From 19th on the grid, he's been known to make comebacks like this before, and this could be it happening again. But as I said, we've still got plenty of laps to go as we look at Julius Anderson coming into the pits for Williams, and Niklas Zorbach has also come into the pits for Manor, and so far it's been a pretty good race by him, I have to say, at you could say, his best circuit. So Anderson comes out obviously ahead of Zorbach. Zorbach changes his tyres, and he'll be going. This I think will be a long stint, so he will be pitting once more for the end. So Zorbach comes out down in 10th position. Will he come out ahead of Joel Hutter? No, Hutter comes out is ahead. So just outside the points is Zorbach, so it's still not over yet. But Mackenzie, second place behind Willows, but Willows will be pitting in a few laps. Well, he's actually pitting this lap, as a matter of fact. So Willows is definitely within a chance of victory here. Now that Mackenzie's done that, I thought Mackenzie was comfortably in the lead, but he was until he made that mistake. And Willows is now really within a shout of victory here. So I would imagine he's certainly not going to go to the end on lap 29, so he'll make one more stop. So we'll have to see what the pace of Willows will be compared to Mackenzie as he is coming towards the pits. So he's got some traffic ahead of him, but he won't bother lapping them before he goes in. He won't catch up to them. So looking at the gap, and Mackenzie has closed the gap by half a second there, so it was a genuine mistake that he had. But Willows, now I suppose you could say the ball is in his court as he now comes into the pits for his second stop. I actually don't know if he's made a stop or not. I'm pretty sure he hasn't, so first or second, I've no idea. I need to have a look at the order next time it goes around, but he comes in anyway. And let's see his fuel. So that's 24. So he'll be making one more stop, and now Turin's off again. Now Turin is off again at the penultimate corner. It's not been a good race for him either. He's running in last in 14th position. So far, it's not gone well for him either. So Nella right now running on his own in now in third position, I should say, with Willows pitting. So Willows comes out in 4th position, and he's got plenty of clear air as well. So at the moment it's looking pretty good for Willows, and he'll be thankful that now Turin has not gone past him there, because he didn't need him holding him up. As we look through the rest of the order, Volker right now in 12th, and he's about to be lapped by Jay Mackenzie. Nella will be going around. He'll be making one more stop before the end. So at the moment, Mackenzie's got a comfortable lead over Miguel Osgow, 12 seconds. Nella's 6 seconds behind him, and I think Willows was 4 seconds behind him as well, as Rope was just lapped by Gal there. So Evan Byrne is in the pits for Renault, I should say. Zorbach made a mistake there, coming through turn 1. And so as the Ferrari, I think that was of Willows, went past him there. No, I think that's actually no Volker, I should say. It's just gone past him. I forget that he's so low down the order. Miguel Osgow has come into the pits, and he will be pitting once more, because that's not enough fuel to go to the end. So he comes out behind his teammate Amar Kar in 6th position. Sontag right now running in a very solid 7th position right now. Best finish so far this season has been 9th. He's not finished higher than 9th. He's had a 9th and a 10th, but he'll hope for more. Well, he'll hope for better than 9th would be his aim. So Mackenzie comes into the pits, so I won't imagine he would go to the end, will he? We'll find out. If he does, I'll be very surprised. We'll see what he does. Changes all 4 tyres, and nope, he won't be going to the end. So it looks to be a battle between him and Joseph Willows, it looks like, for the victory. I don't think Galla's not in it, and Nella's certainly not in it either. So Mackenzie comes out of the pits, and let's see, where is Willows? And actually, that's actually very close, and Willows just gets out in front of Mackenzie, and I think he had just overtaken Will Nella into the first corner, and Nella is going to go past Mackenzie, it looks like, and it's almost 3 wide as the Renault was there as well, and that has not worked out well for Mackenzie at all, and Willows has crucially got out, or stayed out in front of Jay Mackenzie there, and that was incredibly close. That does show the pace of the Mercedes. It seems to me they are the quicker car, but Mackenzie needs to get back past Will Nella. He will not be happy at the fact Nella has got in front here, so he's certainly not letting him through here. He's going to have to wait until the penultimate corner, or the front straight, as they come through here in the slipstream. Mackenzie will surely go past Nella very, very easily as they come towards the penultimate corner. Will Nella let him through here? And the answer is no, he doesn't. So it's going to have to wait until the front straight. This is not good, because Willows is getting away, and this could really, really help Willows. But I mean, you've got to say, even though Nella's got past him, got past him. You could say if Mackenzie hadn't made that mistake he had, then he would never have been in this situation. As Nella goes wide and Mackenzie is crucially through, now he can go after Willows, but that was an unnecessary hold up there, and now Tyrrell nearly got involved. He was sticking his nose in business where he had no business in, and in fact that wasn't Byrne, it was his, no, it was Byrne I should say, it wasn't now Tyrrell. As we look at the rest of the order, Volker at the moment now closing up to the back of Joel Hatter in 9th position. But whew, that was quite something there. So Willows at the moment is the leader of this race. Quite incredible, really, how he's made this strategy work. And so it looks like he could win at this moment in time. But as I said, Mercedes do look very quick. So we will find out whether Mackenzie can close to the back of Willows and overtake him before the final set of pit stops, or whether they'll have to do it in the final set of pit stops. The Sontag comes in, he won't be going to the end. Comes out of the pits, and he's just running outside of the points now. Amarkar comes in for his penultimate stop. He'll be making one more after this. Julius Anderson running on his own in 7th position. Here is Volker on the back of Joel Hutter at the moment. So I'll be interested to see what the gap is between Willows and Mackenzie now. As Volker tries on the inside of Hutter, does he make it stick? The answer is nope, he can't quite make it stick there. It's very difficult to overtake in the penultimate corner, let alone the last one. So he's lost a lot of momentum there, Volker, so he can't make it through there yet. So he's got to wait a few corners, although he's dropped way off Hutter onto the straight there. So he's going to have to catch him up, well, and overtake him probably on the back straight. Mackenzie is still a few seconds behind him at the moment. And well, the crucial thing is for Mackenzie, or the good thing for him is, Willows has got a lot of traffic ahead of him. He's got Zorbach, Volker and Hutter, and if Volker doesn't get past Hutter, then they'll hold each other up even more. As here's Gal going past now Tyrrell on the back straight there, or the front straight I should say. As we look at Roland Moitin coming in, he's been in a race-long battle with Amarkar, so we'll see where he comes back out onto the track. Changes all 4 tyres. Will he go to the end? The answer is no. I mean, no, not a lot of them aren't going to the end. I thought they would really, but they are not, which is interesting to see. So Moitin comes out of the pits, and will he come out ahead of Carr? The answer is, drum roll, no he doesn't. I think that was Carr going past, and yes, so Carr is now in front of Moitin, so that is important for the British driver there. As we look at Woolner in 3rd, Mackenzie at the moment in 2nd, so Willows has made 1 stop. So Willows actually, was on the 2 stops, so that was his first stop of the race, like I actually thought. As Volker trying to get past his team, trying to get past Hutter there, it doesn't make a stick, and now that's going to allow Willows to catch up, and Willows is going to lap his teammate, and well, who knows, he probably be shouting in his helmet, that could be me, and it would have been him had his team not put him on a terrible strategy, but they put Willows on, it seems, the perfect strategy, because that stop he made was his first stop, so his pace was exceptionally good. And of course he'll have 1 more stop to make, so the 2 stop for Willows has worked out a treat, because of course he'll be pitting once more. But at the moment, as I said, we're looking at Zorbach, who is behind Volker. He's not going to make the move stick, because I would imagine the Ferrari is faster than the Manor. But as I said, Zorbach has put in a very solid performance here today so far, as Willows goes past Hutter, goes very wide there, so that's going to allow... Oh, and he's lost his wing! Oh, and that is an easy position for Volker there. So as Willows was lapping Hutter, he goes wide and loses his front wing on the curb there, as you can see. So Willows goes past right there, and oh, he made a mistake there, Hutter, as well, and goes onto the curb. And we've seen before that curb can do damage, and unfortunately it has. So that's a free position for Volker and for Zorbach. As we look at him as he was not letting him through there, and oh no! Oh, and just as well, that's the commentator's curse for that. Just as I was singing Zorbach's praise, and oh my word, a huge crash there. And look at this again. So Hutter, he didn't let Volker go past very easy there, and just came right into the just drifted into the path of Zorbach there. So that was, yeah. And Mackenzie's off, and Mackenzie's hit the wheel. And Mackenzie has hit the wheel from that incident, and oh my word, that I think has just handed the victory to Willows there, surely. But Mackenzie's all over the back of Nello. He's going to try and overtake him into the first corner, and he's almost pushing Nello through and well, yeah, he's pushed him off the track there, I think that's safe to say. So Mackenzie fuming. He could have had an easy victory there, but he has been well and truly screwed over. And oh dear me, just so many things he could have done there as we look at Byrne, who's going to be pitting this lap. But Willows, he's got a 31-second lead, so he's going to come out ahead at this moment in time. So it's looking pretty good for Willows. Right now, everything is going in his favour. The pace he had on those tyres before he made his stop was pretty incredible. Just side through traffic, and Mackenzie now with that spin, he's 31 seconds behind. Willows is going to be pitting in a couple of laps' time, and he'll come out ahead of Mackenzie. So, and Mackenzie's going to be pitting later on. So even if Mackenzie will close up, it won't matter because I think Nella will be so far in front. Now Nella is under pressure from Miklos Gau in the Red Bull here, and will he make it through? The answer is no, he doesn't. But this is the battle for the last podium position. Nella not having the pace clearly of his teammate Mackenzie. Now Gau trying to make a move on the inside. I mean, even though Gau's got heavier fuel than Nella does, but he must have fresh tires. Oh, look at that! And Nella locks up, and Gal makes it up onto the podium. So that is the podium for Miklos Gau, and we'll see how that battle continues. Because of course Gal will be pitting earlier than Nella, but Nella will be going later. Although Nella's going to try once again on the inside. He's going to really try it. He's not giving up, Nella. Ooh, and there's so nearly contact, but they get away with it. That could have gone badly wrong. But at the moment, Gal is the one taking P3. Now here is the Ferrari of this is Florian Volker. Right now in 9th position. He's still in the points, but as I said, I mean, I've said it numerous times, but he's had a disastrous race, has Florian Volker. As Joseph Willis does now come into the pits for the final time, and I would imagine he'll come out ahead of Mackenzie. If not, he'll pass him pretty easily, because Mackenzie does have to pit once more before the end. So Mackenzie coming through the final couple of corners, now comes through the final corner, as we look at Volker trying to pass Will Nella as well. So Will Nella is really struggling at this moment in time on those tyres, but we need to see if Willis has come out ahead. I would imagine he has, as Volker now really trying to get past Nella into the first corner. And there was Mackenzie still in second, so Willis has come out ahead, and he's ahead by a very comfortable margin. And of course he'll be going to the end, so it's looking pretty good for Joseph Willows at this moment in time. As we look at Julius Anderson coming into the pits for Williams, let's see where he comes out onto the track. We've not seen much of Julius Anderson. Of course, it looks like he's still set to get some points at this moment in time, because of course we've had a number of retirements from this race. I think we've only got about like 12-13 cars running here in Austria, so I need to have a look at how many are running again. But Anderson pits for the final time. We're going to the end of this race, and as we look at Anderson coming out of the pits for the final time, and he'll come out ahead of the Sauber of Felix Sonntag, as now Wunella does come in for his final stop of the race. Just not had the pace, as I said, Wunella, compared to his teammate Jay Mackenzie, and well, it's been an average race, I guess you could say, for Nella as he comes in. So there we go, changes all 4 tyres, and there we go. So he'll come out in the top 6 still, and there we go. Out of the pit box he comes, and it will be P6 at the moment, but of course there'll be 2 more cars going into the pits ahead of him. So out of the pits he comes, there we go, and I mean there's no one anywhere near him. I mean, look how long he was in P6 there, proving the pace of the front runners. Now here is the battle for, this is 10th position. This is between the 2 Renaults of now Tyrrell and Evan Byrne in the battle for the last point spot. At the moment, as I said, there's only 12 cars remaining, with Roke being in last place, but he will probably stay last because of that 25-second penalty he had from the clash with Franco Gamba. And we saw Mackenzie was in the pits as well for the final time, so he'll come out around about P4, I think he will be, P4 or 5. Now here is Byrne trying to pass now Turin coming into the penultimate corner. He can't make a stick there, but of course Roke is there as well by the looks of it. So we could have a nice battle for P10, but of course they don't need to worry about Roke because he's got that big penalty. So at this moment in time it's just going to be a battle between the 2 Renaults, but Roke will still probably try and stick his nose in there. But at the moment in time it's looking pretty good for Joseph Willows right now at the lead of this race. No one expected this. I certainly didn't expect this. Just out of absolutely nowhere it happened. As we look at the field coming through, there's Gau in 2nd place at the moment, but of course he'll be pitting in a couple of laps time, and he will take, it looks like, third position, because I think Mackenzie will take second. But we're looking at Willows right now coming through turn 2, heading on to the back straight, and at the moment the gap is 24.5 seconds to Miklos Gal, but it's a comfortable lead, and of course Gal will be pitting. Mackenzie will of course pass Gal once he pits for the final time. So as we look at the rest of the order, so at the moment Anderson 7th, Sontag at the moment going to take his best finish of the season in 8th, and Miklos Gal is going to pit this lap as Nella makes another mistake there. He really is struggling with that car, as Roke was right there behind him. So as we saw, Miklos Gal was coming into the pits. Now Tyrrell comes into the pits as well. So he is going to finish outside the points, but he'll probably finish ahead of Roke because of that penalty. So unfortunately for Roke, he won't get anything because of that penalty with Gamber. I mean, it was his own fault, rejoining the way he did in front of him. But nonetheless, as we look at the Red Bull of Gal about to come into the pits for the final time, the gap between Mackenzie's 11 seconds, so he was gaining that rapidly. So as he comes in, and yep, so Volker right now running in P9. Now he's only 2 seconds off Sontag, so we could have P8, I reckon, Florin Volker, because he's not that far away from Sontag, and the Ferrari is definitely quicker than the Sauber, that's for sure. So now into the pits comes Miklos Gal, as Jay Mackenzie sets the fastest lap of the race, so a 105.128. So the lap record has been absolutely obliterated right there and then. So I mean, I think had Mackenzie not made that mistake, the first mistake, he would easily have won this race. He definitely would have won this race, I think. Well, I mean, I think it still would have been a battle with Willows, to be honest, but I still think he probably would have had the edge because of how quick he is. But there's no way Mackenzie can get, I think, a 30-second gap in 11 laps, or 12 laps I should say. It's just not going to happen. It's not possible. So Moitin comes out of the pits. He'll be in P6. There is Willows just coming past with just 11 laps to go. Nello is just all over the place on those tires, locking up constantly, going wide. I think he just wants, I think the car is really, it's an absolute dog at the moment, so he just wants to get to the end at this point. But Gal at the moment is the one who, I don't know if Car actually has to pit or not. I can't exactly remember if he does, but if not, then Gal will have to get past him, but I would imagine he'll get past him pretty easily. But no, Car does have to pit. Sontag does pit as well for the final time. Wasn't sure if he had to pit once more or not, but he does. But as I said, been a solid race for Felix Sontag, and he comes out of the pits as Armakar obviously is in as well, and he'll come out, it looks like, in 9th position, clear of that battle between the Renaults and the Haas. So there we go, out of the pits he comes, and that's P9, and he'll just need to get to the end of the race in that position, so he'll get some more points on top, which would be good for the team. So as you look at him coming through into turn 2, so I think he'll come out in P4, I believe. Oh, speaking of Car, there he is. He's come out in P5, as a matter of fact, right in front of the Ferrari of Joseph Withers, which will have to let through. So I think that will probably eliminate Car of any chance of getting Nella in front of him, even though he is struggling, because he's now a lap down. But at the moment, you can see the gap, Mackenzie 35.7 seconds, Gal quite a few seconds off as well, and now Tyrrell is out of the race, and Tyrrell, he just doesn't get any luck, that guy, does he? Does not get any luck at all. Unfortunately, he was running in 12th after that pit stop, so I don't think he was going to get any points anyway. But he does retire from the Austrian Grand Prix. Another race to forget for him, unfortunately, as he pulls off to the side. He'll get out the car and get out of there probably as quickly as possible. Just had a few spins today as well. But anyway, here is your race leader, Joseph Willows. What an incredible race that he has had. Out of absolutely nowhere, just slithered his way through the pack and had fantastic pace on that car. Because I thought when he came to the pits, I was like, has he pitted or not? And I realised, oh no, he hasn't. He hasn't pitted. So the pace he had on that car was pretty exceptional. He's been known as the comeback king, and once again, he is proving that to be true. I mean, the first time that happened was back in Canada several seasons ago. That was probably, if anything, like, I think 10 seasons ago when he was first known for it, and it's set to happen once again. He not quite from the back, but on the penultimate row of the grid. And Joseph Willows, what an incredible race. And with car in P5 and the gap only 8 points, Joseph Willows, as he comes round the final corner, is going to win the Austrian Grand Prix and retake the championship lead. An unbelievable performance. And Carr, I think that was actually probably quite sweeter as well. Lapping Carr right towards the end as well. That will probably be a sucker punch as well for Armar Carr. As we look at the rest of the field coming through, Moichin finished in P6 there. He'll be pretty satisfied with that. Roke in last place in 11th. And of course he'll have that 25-second time penalty to compound his misery as well. Julius Anderson will take 7th position, which seems to be, apart from 3rd, his favourite position. So that's more points for him across the line. Mackenzie, 2nd place. It could have been his first victory today, but unfortunately he threw it away when he had several opportunities. He had it within his grasp, and unfortunately he threw it away. He's only got himself to blame for that, I think. Volker coming across the line in 8th. Less said about his race, the better, unfortunately. Could have been so much better. Miklas Gal will take a podium. So this race was 3rd. The last race was 2nd, and the race before was 1st. So let's hope that it doesn't keep going up and it stays on the podium for him. Warnell in 4th position, coming across the line, and that is the race over. So there we go. So now we'll take a look at the full race results as well as the drivers and constructor standings. So Joseph Willows, the winner here in Austria, ahead of Jay McKenzie 2nd, Miklas Gal in 3rd, Warnell 4th, the last car on the lead lap, with Armar Carr, Roland Moichin, Julius Anderson, Florian Volker, Felix Sontag, and Evan Byrne completing the points, with George Roke the last finisher in 11th position, of course with that 25-second time penalty as well, with Jay McKenzie setting the fastest lap, a 1:05.128. And the following drivers all retiring from this race: now Tyrrell, Hutter, Zorbach, Lopez, Mocho, Franco Gamba, Jones, Glazebrook, Roberto Gamba, Tomaselli, and Jan all not finishing this race. So there we go. So now we'll take a look at the drivers' standings. So after Austria, so Joseph Willows retakes the lead, and it's now 12 points to Armar Carr, who himself is 12 points ahead of Miklas Gal in 3rd position. 8 points is the gap. Gal to Volker, Nella only 4 points behind in 5th. Mackenzie closing the gap to Nella in 6th. Franco Lopez 7th. Riccian 8th. Roland Moichin moving up to 9th, and Julius Hansen up into 10th. Both Williams in the top 10 of the championship. Michael Mocho down to 11th. Franco Gamba 12th. Roberto Gamba 13th. Now Tiernan, Byrne, Hutter, Roke, Jones, Tomaselli, and Sontag moving up from 22nd up to 20th. Glazebrook and Pascal dropping down a position, and in last position, yet to finish an OC race, which is unfortunate because he was having a great race, is Nicholas Zorbach, who is yet to finish. So let's hope in the next round he'll actually be able to finish the race. Now we'll take a look at the constructors' standings here. In Australia, Ferrari does now take the lead from Red Bull by just 4 points. Look how tight that is. With Mercedes a fair bit behind in 3rd position, forcing to 80 points behind as well. Williams, Toro Rosso, Renault, Haas, McLaren, and Manor and Sauber on the same points actually in 10th and 11th position. So there we go. That was the Austrian Grand Prix. A pretty exciting race. It generally always is at the Red Bull Ring. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to, as usual, vote for your driver of the day and give the race a rating out of 10. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you for the next round, the British Grand Prix at the home of British Motorsport, Silverstone. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you there.